Hello, BCPS students and families. We are excited to share a read aloud with you. As you listen to this text, we will stop at times and ask you to think about what is happening. After you finish listening to the text, first we will share some questions with you for you to think and talk about. Then you will see a writing prompt. You can use this writing prompt to respond to the text. You can then share your written response with your teacher. Finally, you will see some project ideas for enrichment and ways to have fun interacting with books. This week, you are building your understanding of text structure to help understand expository text. The author of If Sharks Disappeared organized this text using cause and effect. As you listen to this text, think about how sharks affect the ocean. Now, let's read If Sharks Disappeared by Lily Williams. A big thank you to Macmillan Publishers for allowing us to share.
Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be sharing a nonfiction text called If Sharks Disappeared, written and illustrated by Lily Williams, with permission from Macmillan Publishing. I know when I'm reading a nonfiction text, I want to think about what information I am learning, or facts. I also want to make sure that I'm using the text features, such as the illustrations in this case, to make sure that I'm better understanding what the text is telling me. This text is actually going to talk about what would happen if sharks really did disappear or became extinct, and what those effects might be. As I'm reading, I'm going to stop and pause to summarize, to tell the key details of what I've learned so far. This strategy is something that good readers do in order to really clarify the information that they're learning and monitor their thinking. What I want us to be thinking about today, since this is something you've been working on, is the text structure that the author uses to give us this information. We know that text structure could be sequence, chronological order, compare and contrast, to name a few. This text is written using the text structure cause and effect. As I'm reading today, I want you to be thinking about what effects really would happen if sharks actually disappeared. Let's go ahead and enjoy If Sharks Disappeared.
If Sharks Disappeared by Lily Williams, with permission to read from Macmillan Publishing. This is a healthy ocean. It's a balanced environment where many different animals and plants thrive. The ocean is home to a lot of creatures: big, small, slimy, cute, and scary. Sharks have helped keep our oceans balanced for about 450 million years. Over that time, they evolved into more than 400 different species that exist today. Sharks are apex predators, which means they are at the top of the food chain in their ecosystem, the ocean. Losing an apex predator species can cause devastating effects in an environment. I'm going to pause here to summarize what I've learned so far. I learned that sharks have been around for 450 million years. I also learned that there are 400 species of sharks. Also, it seems that it's important that sharks are part of the food chain for the ecosystem to help balance the ocean. I'm wondering what could happen if these large predators disappeared. Let's read to find out. Today, roughly between 1/4 and 1/3 of shark species are vulnerable to extinction because of overfishing. What could happen if this continues and sharks disappear altogether? If sharks disappeared, the ocean would no longer be balanced. Although different species have different diets, most sharks typically eat sick, slow, or weak prey, leaving the healthy animals to reproduce. If sharks disappeared, the population of seals, sea lions, and other pinnipeds would potentially explode. At higher populations, they would eat more and more fish, and eventually, once there weren't any fish left, they'd starve and die out as well. If fish and pinnipeds disappeared, plankton, which is what many fish that are lower on the food chain eat, could quickly grow out of control. That could make the ocean a thick sludge. Nothing could survive in this water. If the ocean became unlivable, many species of land animals that rely on the ocean for food, such as seabirds and polar bears, could starve and die out. The loss of those animals could cause still more species farther inland to die out. This pattern of cause and effect, called a trophic cascade, could spread like a wave across countries and continents until animals around the globe were affected, from bees to birds to bears, and eventually to us. Let's pause here to summarize what effects we have learned for sharks disappearing. I learned that without sharks, oceans would not be strong environments because other animal populations would become too big or too small. This would then cause problems for people. I am wondering how we can help sharks so this doesn't happen. Wow, this is a really cool picture. We have to kind of turn our head on the screen so that we can really see what the illustrator was trying to get here. So it says all species depend on one another to survive by keeping our planet's ecosystems in balance. And luckily today, sharks still exist. Sharks inhabit all the oceans on Earth. If we remember that we are all connected, and if we work together, sharks and our whole planet as we know it will thrive. And maybe we'll see that what once seemed so scary isn't so scary after all. Oh, so I learned that sharks live all over the world in all of the different oceans. We need to remember as people to take care of our planet and our oceans because we are all connected in some way. I hope you were able to learn a lot about sharks like I did.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed learning about sharks as much as I have. The author organizes informational text as cause and effect to help explain how the entire ecosystem would be affected if sharks disappeared. Talk about these questions to help understand the impact sharks have on both ocean and human lives. Sharks typically eat sick, slow, or weak prey. How does this help keep the ocean balanced? If too many seals and sea lions are in the ocean, what would happen to the fish population? Animals at the lower end of the food chain are often discounted. In the text, we learn that fish and pinnipeds rely on plankton for food. How would having an overabundance of plankton impact the entire ecosystem? All species depend on one another to keep the ecosystem balanced. How would the disappearance of sharks affect how we live today? Let's write about it. Sharks are apex predators and at the top of the food chain. If they disappeared, it would negatively affect the environment. Write a letter to an ecologist explaining the devastation losing sharks would have on the environment. Let's have some fun. Reuse a box to create a diorama of the ocean. Paint or color the box blue, then add plants and animals you would find in the ocean. Be sure to include an illustration of your favorite shark. Infographics are great ways to share new information. Use a poster or piece of large paper to create an infographic explaining why sharks are important to maintaining a balanced ecosystem. Ecologists study the relationship between plants, animals, people, and the environment. Overfishing is a threat not only to plants and animals who live in the ocean, but people as well. Create a slogan that will encourage people to take better care of the ocean. Write a paragraph explaining your slogan. Take some time to do one, two, or even all three of these activities. Have fun and have a great day.